Hello and welcome to this full moon video for the full moon in Rohini Nakshatra, which is going to take place on the 3rd of December 2017. The exactitude of the full moon will be at approximately 3:45 in the afternoon UK time. If you're interested in knowing when that will be in your own particular time zone, you can usually look that information up online. So somewhere in your life, there is a big change that is brewing, and you're trying to pull together all the information, all the things that you need to do in order to create this big shift. The only problem is as you're trying to do that, you're feeling a little bit insecure. In one area of your life, there's something that's exhausting you. It's weighing on your shoulders. You feel like you've got a lot of responsibility, and on a certain level, you don't feel like you're being respected for that responsibility. And it's placing you in a position where rather than just deal with the situation naturally, you're feeling instinctually like you have to exhibit a sense of confidence. But in exhibiting that sense of confidence, most likely what you're doing is you're letting pride and a fear of losing face, so to speak, interfere with your capacity to make a decision. And that's a really confusing hodgepodge of emotions to have to deal with, when really on a certain level, you're just wanting to make the right choices in order to make a change that's very important for you to make. Now, this is going to be taking place in a different area in each individual's life, dependent upon where the full moon is falling, I should say, and dependent upon where Saturn rules in your chart and where Venus rules. Because basically, as this full moon is taking place, you've got Venus and Saturn in close proximity to the sun. When Saturn's in close proximity to the sun, we feel overburdened. We feel like we've got too much responsibility on our shoulders. We feel like the universe is just, creating too much hardship for us, and we don't know how to deal with it. And we become resentful of what we're having to do. We become afraid of making the wrong decisions, because the sun, on a certain level, deals with that healthy sense of pride or that healthy sense of dignity. And when it's putting upon Saturn in that manner, it's really difficult. And Saturn, we have to remember, is transiting through Mula Nakshatra. And with Mula Nakshatra, especially when you're dealing with a difficult Saturn like you're dealing with right now, there can be the tendency to act upon the ego rather than acting upon what's the phrase I want to use, rather than acting upon the heart, so to speak. Now, at the same time, we've got Venus transiting through Anuradha Nakshatra, which is going to be impacted by Saturn, because Saturn rules that particular area of the sky. And as that is taking place, Venus feels equally a feeling as if the wrong decision is made, that there's going to be repercussions. Venus is also feeling that there is not enough respect being given for whatever areas of your life Venus rules. You're feeling like you're not being respected for those particular areas. And that's got you behaving in a manner like you feel like you've got a point to prove. Now, Venus and the Sun are both prideful planets. And when they come in close proximity to each other, well, Venus feels that, well, in order to do what is going to give me the capacity to appear honorable in this situation, I have to sacrifice something that's going to make me feel happy. And I don't really want to sacrifice that thing that's going to make me feel happy. Also mixed in with this, Venus likes to know that it's making the wisest choices that are going to make its life right. Okay. And so with this particular alignment, Venus doesn't really trust that it can do those things, right? You don't really trust that you can do those things. But one part of you feels like you can't let that show. And so mixed in with all of this, you're just confused. You don't know what steps you need to take. So luckily, with this particular full moon cycle, we've got a Mercury that can really help the situation, because at the same time that the moon is approaching its fullness, Mercury is getting ready to station retrograde. Now, many of you might be thinking, well, how is that going to help? Well, Mercury retrograde gets a really bad reputation. But when Mercury is stationing, either direct or retrograde, it's practically sitting still, right? So with this particular energy, if you can tap into that stillness rather than going into the confusion that you're feeling, the answer will become clearer. Mercury is also transiting through Mula Nakshatra. So you need to put your pride to one side. No matter how exhausted you might feel with this situation, how fed up with it you are, no matter how much you feel like you're not being respected for something, you need to just kind of put all of that to the side. Even if you need to just on that day find yourself in a certain place where you can spend time by yourself. As Mercury is stationing and getting ready to slow down, Mercury is going to be one of the brightest things in the sky. And one of the great things about Mercury when it's retrograde is it can't be combust, no matter, if it is close to the sun or not. Because when Mercury is retrograde, it's in front of the sun. So a retrograde planet happens when it's behind the sun. Its rays can't get to the earth where we're experiencing consciousness. So when Mercury is retrograde, it's in front of the sun, and it's soaking in all those rays of the sun and exuding that on a very, powerful level, to the earth. So all the difficulty that might be happening within Mula Nakshatra, such as you're feeling burdened through that Saturn, while Mercury gives you the capacity for right discretion, right judgment. But in order to tap into it, you're going to need to get into a reflective headspace that's away from those feelings of exhaustion. That's away from those feelings that you have something that you have to prove and you don't feel like being diplomatic with another person. You have to just kind of put that all to the side. To the extent that you're able to put it to the side, that's the extent that an answer will be there. And when that answer comes, then you can begin to set wheels in motion in order to create the changes that you need to create. Now, as I mentioned, this is going to affect each of us in a different area of our lives, dependent upon where the full moon is falling. And if you would like a little bit more information on that in regards to your own personal horoscope, please do feel free to schedule an astrological service through the astrological services page of my website. There's a link to that at the end of this video in just a few seconds. That's going to do it for this look at the full moon in Rohini Nakshatra for the 3rd of December 2017. Until next time, please do take the very best care of yourself. Bye now.